I think Dream or Ishii's stream. Both had good shows tonight. Uh-oh. Can you hear me? Not sure. The mics were working earlier, but oh, okay, cool. All right. I am trying a very sad stream off my phone, so I didn't quite know if it was going to work or not. So, did you play a lot of RPGs? What's your game of choice? There we go. Okay. I was trying to run off my phone as opposed to Wi-Fi. It's been a long day. All right, so sorry. BX D&D? What's BX D&D? Is that a specific edition or? I gotta find my other. Yeah, it's hard to go wrong with Mistra. Lots of magic, lots of power. What I wouldn't give for Mistra to show me where I put my other ruler right now. I should really prepare everything before I start these streams. But, basic expert. Gotcha. So are you sort of a dungeon Delvarian that you're big on 1E or 2E, or which edition is your favorite? Hey, Frank. I myself am a D&D 5e kind of guy. I like the other editions. Had the opportunity to play a little 1E. Temple of the Frog on Dungeon Delver's channel a couple of weeks ago. That was a lot of fun. I liked how initiative worked back in the day, so that it was always different. You never quite knew what was coming up. I think it made combat a little more fun. I see. Yeah, I like the way old school D&D was played. You can't argue with it. Um, if there is a downside, I think it's just in the timing. It's going to take a lot longer. So I've had in the games that I've DM'd and in the games that I've played, I've had groups of like 6 people playing, and then they're fighting a group of like 50 monsters. You just can't 1d6 that every single round. You just sort of have to break it out, and I tend to group. I have like my monster slash enemy characters go by grouping. So it'll be like, all of the city guards are in this turn. All of the city guards who have bows and arrows will go on that initiative count. Just to speed things up. I mean, I like to keep people interested. I don't want people falling asleep on me, hanging out on their phone while other people are playing. What about you, Frank? Which edition do you like to play? It's gonna drive me nuts. I have the perfect small size ruler and I just don't remember where I put it last night. Ah, here we go. All right. So, are you guys gonna go to Dungeon Delver's 1K virtual con? Sounds like he's got a lot of stuff cooking for it. Yeah, the glove helps with smudging. So this glove actually came with, I have a tablet, or sorry, not a tablet, but yeah, a tablet, like a Wacom tablet. It's not Wacom brand though. And it helps to keep my greasy old fingerprints off of the screen so I'm not constantly having to clean it. And I found that it's actually pretty good when you're using actual ink too. I don't think you can really see, but like there's actually boxes drawn in, like right along this area, and they're all in pencil. And every time I rub my fat sausage link fingers over them, it just smudges more and more, which you know makes it a little rougher to work with later on. Eventually, I've got to scan this guy in, and I don't know if I'm going to color it or not. What do you guys think? Is color better, or something like this doesn't need color? I was thinking of just doing little bits of shadow in gray. So like, can't see it. Like you can kind of see up here around this smaller chest. I've got, just little bits of gray marks to indicate shadow, and near these barrels as well. Let's see if it's easier to see this way, maybe. So, the question is, do I want to keep doing that or do I want to just go over it? I mean, I could use a marker, but if I screw that up here on this stage, it's a pain in the butt to edit in Photoshop. So I'm debating. Hey, Pete. Pizza is nah. Yeah, I kind of like black and white looks myself. I mean, it definitely does need a little bit of depth. I'm not too sure about these bricks either. I don't know. I need like a texture in there or something because they're just not. I don't know. They don't look like they contain the image, which is a real pain. So, do you guys run any games yourselves? Yeah. I mean, definitely sandpaper underneath, shading with pencil, that might work. The only problem is then it gets super duper smudgy. But yeah, actually, that's not a bad idea. We'll have to think about that when I have to try it out, and then I might go for it. I do have a lot of sandpaper out in the garage. All right, so if you're going to make an original character, what class do you go for? I find myself drawn more to melee players. Hmm. I played a wizard for a couple of years, which was a lot of fun, but I think, for me, melee has it. I like something like a monk, a little flavor to him. Thief is something that I've never played. I'm really gonna have to try it one of these days. I had a bard that I'm keeping for the right game. I played him in a one shot once. Oh man, it was so much fun. He he's he was dumb, right? Intelligence was pretty much the dump stat, and so he had the intelligence of a Derek Zoolander. He has the douchiness of a Justin Bieber and the sexual confidence of Pepe Le Pew. Uh, his thing was he didn't care about fighting monsters. He didn't care about treasure. He was just going around with a band of adventurers so that he could go around the world and win the hearts of fans everywhere with his music. He wanted to be the greatest pop star the world has ever seen. And he was pretty lame. He didn't really have any offensive magic spells. He just took everything like dancing lights and everything that you would have to make a show better, thaumaturgy for projecting the voice. And he was great because instead of, in most games where the bard tries to sleep with everything, since he's a rock star, he just assumes that everyone wants to sleep with him. So, when you're trying to get information out of an NPC, normally the bard's going to be like, oh, come here, baby, and like, try to seduce him that way. This guy, he was more like, okay, tell me what I want to know, and I'll let you tell everyone that we did it, and I'll definitely say that you were great. You need the right kind of campaign for a character like that. And one of these days, I'm going to get to play him. Poison's a killer, though. Do you mean when you use the poison, it's a killer, or are you saying it's a real pain to keep track of all the different poisons or make the poisons? Mm, yeah, there's not enough of that. If you look into older editions of D&D, it seems like there's a lot more characters or abilities or attacks that are pretty much, um, you know, save or suck, where you could insta kill a lot of people. not a whole lot left in 5e. I think the basic monk that I suddenly forgetting, Way of the Fist. That's it. At level like 15, they get the ability to one shot any enemy. They got to make a con save. If they make it, they take 10d10 worth of damage. But if they fail, they're insta killed. So you could kill whatever main bad guy if they roll poorly. However, that doesn't seem very likely to me. That's part of the problem with some of these abilities. By the time you're, level 15 and you actually get the ability to do that, very few enemies are going to have low enough constitution where that would actually work. I think I'm getting a little sloppy with the brush here. Guess that's going to be more cleanup later. One game I'm hoping that Bill gets for his con is actually Marvel Superheroes. I believe that was the name. So it was a game from the 90s. No, not 90s. I think it was late 80s, where basically they had all the Marvel superheroes available. And it was just a lot of fun back in the day. Of course, it was a great time for Marvel Comics as well. Wrong one. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was, in my opinion, overly complicated, but you could make virtually any kind of superhero out of it, any sort of backstory. They gave you like one generic city / battle map with it. So that was a little bit unfortunate, but overall, it was a real fun game. Not too long before that, they had come out with the official Marvel handbooks, or what was it called? Handbook to the Marvel Universe. And it was like, 8 or 12 different volumes of comic-sized books that had entries on virtually every hero in the Marvel Universe. Well, not only hero, but every character in the Marvel Universe, I should say. I think it was around like 1986. And it was fantastic. And they took all of that and then they sort of gave everyone, power levels to play. And the rest was history. I don't know why that faded out. I believe it was also TSR who put it out, but maybe Bill would remember. Oh, you're in Gamma World too? Oh, I feel like such an idiot. I was gonna read over the whole thing, the whole instruction booklet over the weekend when I managed to break my computer. So it's still something that I need to do this week. I did get through the different types of characters, so like normal human. I know there was another name for it, where you could be like the half human, half animal. I don't know, man. Rolling on that table scares me though, because you don't want to be stuck with the guy who just has like an extra hand growing out of where his nose should be. Have you decided what you're going to play? Yeah, me too. It's interesting because they make it sound like being a normal human is a big disadvantage, unless you're trying to get into these cities where there's robots that may or may not kill you. So I guess my question is like, well, how often are you going in there? Because if you never go in those cities, then it seems like that's not a big advantage. But yeah, the game should be fun. Um, Bill had me on like 2 Fridays ago or something. We did a little Temple of the Frog, and I had a blast. I think we should tell him that we're all baristas looking for jobs. I think he'd really enjoy that. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. Pure strain, to me, it's kind of like, if you're playing D&D and you play human, a lot of it's what you make. I had thought about like, oh, maybe I'll play a pure strain that was kind of frozen cryogenically, and he's out now and he's trying to make sense of the world. Maybe he came from wherever it was, I can't remember, 26 something, before the world was bombed and everything. It seems like that'd be a lot of fun if you're into more of the role playing aspect. However, I don't know how much fun that would be, if the whole game is more like combat oriented. Oh, I can't wait to get my computer back. Then we can have a little music with these streams. Now, I do know that Bill is, or Dungeon Delver rather, he seems to be fond of throwing in what would be like ancient world tech into these things. So I'm thinking we're going to end up being like all crowded into like a minivan or something 20th slash 21st century in this game. All right, have a good night, man. I will see you Friday for sure. All right, well, I think I am going to end the stream too, just because I need to get some things done. But thanks, everyone. Thanks for sticking around, and I will see everyone later.